Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, maybe I just wasn't.
Mine's on.
All right. So I can't tell. We're good. Here we are. How do you tell if they're on? All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and start with roll call. Ginny?
Bush,
Here.
Greenlee,
Here.
Harris,
Here.
Hill,
Here.
Kyers,
Here.
Longstreet,
Here.
McCaffrey. Reichard is not here yet. Mr. Rice, I think, is going to be absent today. And then Sachs. No, sorry.
You said that
My
back.
gosh, why do I want to always make you Mr. Rice?
Here.
And then Mr. Sachs is going to be absent today.
Okay. We got that squared away. We're off to a rip-roaring start. All right. We don't have any additions or deletions to the agenda, and so we'll move right on to the approval of the minutes of the April 22nd meeting. If we have a motion to approve those. Okay, thanks, Lucas.
Second.
Thanks, Bruce. All right, any questions? Edit? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, minutes are approved. We have no communications, and with that, it brings us to our first public comment. But seeing no one in the audience, if you are online and wish to make written comment, please feel free to email the Parks Commission at any point during the month at the email address in the video description. All right, we'll start with staff reports and the director's report with Jason.
I think the biggest milestone was, since our last meeting, the Board of Commissioners approved the millage, sending the millage renew and increase to August, and then, or the renew and restoration to August, and then the increase to November. So that was a big milestone. I also included we have a purchase agreement and settlement agreement that's been executed with for the Brill property for the North Ottawa Dunes expansion that we applied for that trust fund grant. So one big major milestone down, then we have to continue to work on securing the grant and the additional investigations we'll need for that property. But this was a pretty significant milestone. So, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jason? All right, thanks, Jason. We will keep going with the park operations report, and Jason.
Hello, everybody. I'll give a little bit about my report in just a second, but before we do so, we have one of our newest park supervisor here, Ethan Ehlers is here with us. If you want to step up to the podium, Ethan. Ethan's just going to tell us a little bit about himself and how it's going so far how long have you been here now?
5 months.
5 months. He's been here. So
what position is he?
Oh, he's, our East Park Supervisor took over for Colin Zackerson when he retired. So he's actually been lucky enough to have Colin come back as a seasonal employee and help him figure out where
Really?
valves are for turning on things. And yeah,
Isn't that cheating?
it's a little bit cheating.
Well, everybody, it's very nice to meet you. I'm Ethan Ehlers. I'm coming over from the DNR, so that was my last position as park officer at the Allegan Field Office. Before that, Grand Haven State Park. So I'm a stranger to Ottawa County.
Great.
I've been living here for the last 2 years. I live in Jamestown, and I'm honored to work and serve the community that I live in now. So that's a great opportunity. I've always been kind of serving outside of where I live. So this is it's beautiful. I love the East Side parks, Grand Ravines and Hager, and Spring Grove is particularly special to me since I live just down the street. But yeah, I'm really loving the position so far. All my coworkers are tremendous. They've been such a huge help to me. And I'm really looking forward to big holiday.
Yeah, dive right in. Good. Well, welcome. It's great to have you. How's Colin doing taking a back seat?
He's been great. Yeah, he's been great. Helped me find
Super.
all my new blind spots.
Nice. We've all got them. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions or comments for All right, Ethan, thank you so much for joining us. It was wonderful to meet you. Hopefully see you in the parks.
I will say that there are a lot of little things to know when you take over a position like that. I did have Colin write out instructions for a ton of stuff, and Ethan has been following them pretty well. Colin, it helps to have Colin to ask if, he's not sure about something. But there was an issue at Spring Grove with turning the water on. And honestly, today, Ethan showed me where the valves were because I didn't know,
Nice.
and he didn't know. He asked Colin, but or no, it was actually Tyler, his operations tech, that actually was able to show him where it was. But yeah, some little things like that, like where are all the shutoff valves at Spring Grove? Yeah, I didn't even know that. So
Right? Nice. Great, nice. Thanks for coming.
So as far as the rest of the region, our spring has been, this past month has been a lot of flooding along the Grand River and even in some of the other areas in Holland along the Macatawa as well. And then that flooding has now gone down, and now we just had a lot of trees and other stuff that floated in and litter to clean up. Spent a lot of time doing that in addition to all the prepping. Like I said, turning the valves back on, getting the water tests done, and getting everything prepped and ready to be opened. Even got started on getting some of the kayak launches put back in, and then actually they're all back in now. But the month I'm reporting on, we just got started with them, and so getting everything up and going and ready. So it's starting to look really good, and hopefully we'll actually have some, summertime weather soon. I'd happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions for Jason?
The photo of Tunnel Park stairs,
Mhm.
that's within the last week or so, or?
No, that photo was from probably 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's construction work that was going on there. So yeah, those dune steps are completely, and that's not being done by staff, that's being done by a contractor, but completely rebuilt. I mean, they were, I don't know, how old are those steps, Kurt? Probably 25 years old,
Yeah, not quite that, but between 15 and 20 years old.
20, yeah. I know they're older than 15, but yeah, they were, and like many of our things along the lake shore, they were buried in spots, and that with the sand right up against them, and there was a lot of significant rot. So it'll be really nice to have some new stairs there with some more sure feeling as you walk up and down them.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep going then with the planning and development report. Kurt?
All right, thank you. I think I will leave my report as written, except for one item. I was hoping to have bids for the Eastmanville Bayou segment of the Explorers Trail. The bid opening was last week, but we only had one bid, and it was a little bit higher than estimate. It was about 10% above estimate, but when the estimate is $3 million, that means it's $300,000 more than we were hoping. So I think we will still probably go with this contractor, but we're working through some things with them to make sure it's still a good bid, and there are some ideas for how to reduce some of those costs. So I will plan on bringing that to you next month. We lose 1 month, it's not really hardly a month of a loss. So I think it's just going to take time to make sure everything's square with that. Other than that, things are heating up along with everything else in the spring. Things are lots of stuff going on, but happy to answer questions if you have them.
Anything for Kurt? You guys are all so thorough. We don't have any questions today. Awesome. Thanks, Kurt. The community engagement report, and that's Jess.
Super busy. Look at that. My mic wasn't on. We really missed Noelle. It's peak crazy time right now. Happy to answer any questions. Wanted to draw your attention just to a couple of events before I move on. So Hawthorne Park dedication. This will be a name change. June 23, the event will start at 4, remarks at 4:30. So please join us if you can make it. And then I'm happy to share the TikTok event last night was extremely well attended, which I'm really grateful for. And Neely might actually be talking about it too, just because they've been pretty rough this season. So really happy to have folks out learning about that. And Scott, the videographer for the county, was there. So we should be able to get that posted virtually as well to try to continue
whole
to
thing?
further the reach. Yeah, I
Whole
saw with the
talk?
camera the whole time. So
Okay. Super.
hopefully
Great.
we've got the whole thing. Any questions?
I just want to thank you for all the coordination you're doing with all of the different organizations. So thank you.
Any other questions for Jess? All right, we will keep rolling then with the Natural Resources Management Report, and that's Neely.
All right. Well, I don't have a ton to add either, but just adding to Jessica's comment about the TikTok, I think we had 51 attendees. So that
Nice.
was really good. And not only did Scott take a video the whole time, there was actually someone from, I think it was Channel 13, excuse me, who interviewed Dr. Will Miller from Calvin afterwards. So yeah, it was really well attended. Lots of great questions from the audience. So it was pretty fun too. Will is a great, he's a great professor, I'm sure, researcher, but also a wonderful storyteller. So he's really good at making his research sound a little more interesting. So yeah, it was a great event, and hopefully helped some residents and park users feel a little bit more comfortable and a little safer going out in the parks. And then, the other thing that I did want to add also was another successful event was the Native Plant Day at Countryside a couple weeks ago. So reports from Countryside have been really good so far as native plant sales go. So they're going to keep them in stock. They said plant sales were excellent that day. So
Is there a
All good things.
possibility for expanding that to other like large nurseries? I know there's a lot down like in Hudsonville, Jenison area.
I mean, and we would definitely be open to it. And I think that, as we build public awareness, then I think that demand will probably push them in that direction, because I think that other places are starting to head in that direction too, even if it's more of the native cultivars and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if this works well with Countryside moving forward on a larger scale, it might work well to point to that with some of those other companies. Yeah, it just seems like a great time for native plant sales in general. So good stuff.
Any questions or comments for Neely?
Just
Yeah,
one,
go ahead.
as far as the Connected County Park public lunch, I'm not sure when that was, and I'm sorry I missed it, but you had over 200 attendees.
Yeah, and I actually missed it too. I was really sick.
Place was
but,
packed.
it was April 4th at the Nature Center, and it was. I watched it on YouTube. But so Tyler was there and the rest of the team, and then a bunch of community engagement folks. So yeah, it went really well. And we've seen a lot of interest about Connected County Parks, a lot of calls and emails about that since then. And then that was something too that we had signs and information about that at Countryside last Saturday, or the previous Saturday, and then the BPW plant sale this past Saturday. So we've been, it's been a great partnership opportunity. So partnering with, obviously with Countryside, but also with the Conservation District, with BPW. So yeah, we all kind of have the same goals in mind. So it's worked out really well.
Nice.
Right, I see you had a burn at Robinson for us. And
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
other ones
really.
coming up?
At Robinson, the burn was very small. It was only about an acre. So it's part of some test plots that we have laid out to look at relative success of cutting and burning in different combinations over time to kind of thin that canopy a little bit to get the habitat that we're looking for. So we did have a very successful burn there, and then we burned at Grand River Park as well. We were hoping to do a couple other burns moving forward, but you have to get just the perfect temperature, wind, and other combinations. So I'm not sure we'll be able to pull another one off this spring yet.
You did Stearns too, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked through there afterwards and
Yes.
it was, yeah. I could-
Yeah, and that one actually went really well too. We were hoping to burn 10 acres. We ended up burning 5. But the good thing about a slow burn is you get better burn effects. So
Yeah, I'd like to give Tyler a shout out for,
Yeah.
well, and you and your whole staff, honestly, on the prescribed burning program. I mean,
Yeah.
just to see the leaps and bounds you guys have taken and, them teaching other people what's going on and why. And there's members of the public now that are participating
Right.
in burn crews that have been through Tyler's training and stuff. It's really, really great.
Well, and it was really fortuitous that Tyler came when he did because he already had all these certifications, and then we started working more closely with the Michigan Prescribed Fire Council. He's now a prescribed burn
I saw
manager,
that,
which is a
yay.
certification through the state. That's a new certification. So yeah, it's been great, just adding that level of professionalism to our staff, but then also a lot of qualified volunteers. And then we're working with a Southwest Michigan collaborative burn group. So we have some members from other organizations come and help us, so adding their experience. And then in turn, we've helped with some other fires in the region. So yeah, it's a great partnership.
Super. All right, any final questions? All right, thanks, Neely. We will keep going with the development report. And Katie's not here, but you could take any questions, Jason?
Yep,
Okay.
she had a donor meeting this afternoon. I think the one thing, and it, I don't think it shows up, maybe it came in May. We did receive a fairly sizable donation to help with future land acquisition. So looking in the Stearns Bayou area, so which is exciting. And then there are some restrictions that be used there for a period of time, but then once that expires, will go to the foundation for they can allocate it however they wish. So it's always nice to have somebody reach out and offer financial support for something. So then we're working internally to move up, right? Contacting various landowners to have conversations, and we know we have another significant donor who would help with additional land protection in that area too. So yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, we'll keep going then with the Visitor and Business Services report, and that's Nick.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of stuff going on, like always. I'm going to pretty much leave my report to stand as is, but I did want to highlight a couple things. First thing, I want to shout out to Kate Alvarez, our North Operations Supervisor. She had an amazing idea. We've created what's called an uplift committee, and we're focusing on employee morale and getting to know each other more. We work in a lot of different areas, a lot of different departments, and a lot of times we don't see each other. So we did our first event after work. We had a cookout. I think over 50 people came. A lot of people we don't see every day, and it was super successful. So we're really excited to get that going. So huge thank you to Kate for that awesome idea and everyone that's helping on the committee. And then also just wanted to highlight the campground software. That's going along very well. It was approved recently. It's almost, I'd say it's about 50% built out at this point. What's really exciting to me in the staff at the campground, before we even get into training with the software company, there's a certification program we're going through, and then it's pretty in depth. And I went through it, and I feel very confident in the software, and I haven't even touched it really built out for our application. And I've heard that from all of the staff at Item Explorers Camp. They're really excited about the software. It's going to be easier for them to use. They think the customer is going to like it a lot as well. So we're really excited about that. But happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Anything for Nick? All right, thanks, Nick. We'll keep going with the visitation report, and we could probably let that stand as is. It's always got a lot of detail in there. You know, Aaron pulls that together, but did anyone have questions on that anyone else might be able to address? All right. With that, we will keep moving and go on to the committee reports. The first one is Executive Committee. We met, Linda and I. Lucas got to take a fun vacation this month. So on May 11th with Jason, really just kind of talked about the agenda, some of the action items we have coming up here, a little bit about the overall budget and budget planning process and the calendar associated with that. Made sure Ethan was going to be here today, so we talked a little about getting him on the agenda, and then just some closed session issues with a few property topics, but fairly short this month, but happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. All right, we will move on to the Planning Committee, and you were here for that, right, Lucas?
I was,
Okay,
yeah.
I just realized I wasn't, yeah, so Lucas, if you want to take that one.
I didn't say much, but I was there.
Yeah, that's right, I do remember.
So yeah, I mean, it was a great meeting, as usual, covering a number of items that have, some of those are just kind of in the works, the Bend area is a topic that we've been covering for the last few months. So it's always just good to see how that's progressing. Crockery Lake has been resurrected a little bit as far as, some activity out there and water quality. So interesting to discuss that, and the Grand River Coastal Corridor. So just kind of talking about that plan and trying to implement it within Ottawa County. So thanks as always for the great minutes for the meeting, and I'll be happy to try and answer any questions.
Anything for Lucas?
I noticed on here that for the Bend Area Explorer Center, there's a note on here that a potential donor is not going to be providing funding, and so we're the plan that we looked at as a group last month, then that's our feasibility study. Then we'll be looking at. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, anything else? All right, we'll keep rolling with finance and policy, and that is Linda.
So earlier on in this document, you will have seen the calendar for the budget. It was in the earlier up by Jason's report. So we are in the budget process right now. So nothing is final. Brandy's not here, but we're always ahead of Brandy. We're ahead of every other office in the building. We're probably a month and a half ahead of what our projections are doing. So we're still waiting on information from the county. The county doesn't have all of their tax information in it all. So we'll know more about what we're having, but it's in its regular routine. We did talk about the on-call reservation specialist, and that is a transfer in their work role so that we can use them. Nick, not we, but Nick and the rest of the staff can move those folks around to help where there is a need. As they're rated right now, they can't do that. Camp Spots, we decided not to take the deposit off of Camp Spot. There was a lot of discussion about that, but the $100 is no big deal. It's going to make up for itself. You're going to see motions about the IEC business plan. I want to reiterate the business plan is on a 5-year plan. It's kind of a redone plan based on what happened with the software, but 5 years is kind of standard in business. I actually after we talked about that, went and talked to some of my small business friends, and they said, yeah, 5 years is not uncommon. And then we're going to talk about a facility use plan as well. And then there's a couple that we're going to take some money down off the drawdown. There's a memorandum about that, or a motion, and a motion about the YMCA, and another motion about the Shoreline Amateur Association. And that's just kind of a clarification, more substance in our relationship with them. That's pretty much it.
Great. Thanks, Linda. Any questions from anyone?
I think I want to add one last thing about,
sure.
about the budget. This is just a reminder that our budget is built based on what our millage is going to be. So as we talked at the Finance Committee, I don't anticipate this, but if the millage were not to pass in August, there would be substantial changes to the budget. Substantial changes to the budget. And then once we are fortunate, and I have faith that that will pass, then there will be a second go around of budgeting based on whether the millage addition passes in November or doesn't pass. And I want to be clear that if neither of those passes, there are lots of things that don't happen. Lots and lots of things that affect people, their lives, the way we operate in the parks. So I'm going to keep that in the front of everybody's head, that the millage renewal and the upgrade are really important. And so if you have the opportunity to talk positively about that, please do. You don't have to tell people, you're not just educating them, you're not trying to politically tell them that, but if they have questions about what things are and what the budget that's all going to be public information. It's on the website. Jess and her team is doing an amazing job of educational information. I heard last night that the county itself has on the front page of the website, when you go to MI Ottawa, you can go see what your millage increase, or not increase because we're just renewing, would be for mental health, CMH, and for us. So they're putting it right out there for you to look specifically at your piece of property.
Then we have a couple, a one-page flyer drafted and a rack card is what we call it. But we're running those through Corporation Council just to make sure, right, double checking it. And then we'll make sure at the next commission meeting, we'll have some hard copies if anybody would like to have a stack of those that then they could pass out or share when they're out talking to people, but provides a framework. And
they're strictly educational. There is no persuasiveness added to that. We can't do that, but they're strictly educational.
Yep. Good. That's a good addition, Linda. Thanks. Any other questions on that topic? All right, we will go on with the Ottawa County Parks Foundation update, and that is Martin. Have anything?
I don't think I have anything that will actually be new information to most, if not everybody here, but I will offer a couple of brief reminders about, of course, the breakfast and lunch at the park coming up on June 11th. So if any commissioners are still sorting out your plans, or if you have people you'd like to invite, RSVPs are due by next Tuesday. That's May 26th. So make sure your plans are sorted out there. And then again, on June 20th is the Grand Explorers Trail Race, which is going to be beautiful. The weather is going to be awesome that day. So definitely plan to come.
Good to know.
Thanks for that guarantee. Super. Any questions for Martin on the foundation activities? All right, thanks, Martin. And we'll keep rolling with new business. And first up, we have the annual distribution from the Ottawa County Parks Nature Education Center Endowment Fund at the Grand Haven Grand Haven Area Community Foundation. So we have a suggested motion, if anyone would care to make that.
So move.
Okay, thanks, Jane.
Second that.
Okay, thanks, Martin.
And it's been through finance.
It has been through finance. Yeah, good point. I should have added that. So, yep, finance has taken a look at this.
We do this every year.
That's right.
Yep.
just kind of a formality. So Katie submitted this, but Jason, is there anything you need to add other than that? Just kind of
As-
a routine? Just
As
for-
Linda said, this is, now that the Parks Foundation's 10 years old, this fund, endowment fund was established when they did a capital campaign to support the construction of the Nature Education Center. So each year, what we do is we do the drawdown for this endowment fund and have the Parks Commission then allocate that towards the Parks Foundation. The Parks Foundation also supports our community engagement initiatives and outdoor education
Right.
financially. So this goes to help support that as well. So
Great. Any questions on that?
Question, Jason, is the 5167 the income from the fund over the rolling like 3-year period?
Yes, so, well, it is, so let's read the percentage, if it tells us.
It's, I think, 5%.
So it's 4% of the average of the 12 rolling quarters average.
Okay.
We
Right?
discussed that at the finance meeting, right?
Yep, yep.
Sorry, I just was asking it for everybody's information.
Yep.
Second question, is there we're paying an administrative fee to the Grand Haven Area Community Foundation to manage that money. Is there any way we can move that money just directly to the Ottawa County Parks Foundation? And is that something we should explore? Might be able to do it.
We might be able to. This, so we have a fund here for nature education. There's also one at the Holland Zealand Community Foundation.
Right.
Having this here provides opportunities for folks who have funds in the Grand Haven Community Foundation to make allocations directly to that. Meaning if you have a family account, they have, right, a plethora of different opportunities to donate to. So having this there is to some extent a strategy just to have awareness of.
Okay, I'm just trying to
Yep.
save us a little bit of money.
Yep. So, but I think if that was something that that the Parks Commission would want, we could investigate and see. This is one way that we kind of broaden that base, but then try to get the money into the hands of the Parks Foundation to manage then also.
We did look at that when we started, Phil.
Yeah.
I forget the reason why we did it. I have to go back and refresh my memory, but I
Well,
know
and
we
this one was,
we went through all that and then we decided to do it this way because there's one in Allendale too. That's Allendale.
and
What
And-
Bobby explained to me, as she was at the beginning, is it makes it easier for others to give that are not as engaged with the parks
Mhm.
as we might be. It gives them an opportunity to do it through the parks. It also relates good community relationships to be engaged in each one of those communities.
Mhm.
But the foundation was kind of engaged in the way this was set up.
well, and this fund was predated the Parks Foundation.
Yes.
So I think, so one of the things we've talked about is a campaign to support our programming and initiatives, and we've tagged it Parks for All. But I think if and when we decide to look at doing a campaign to raise money specifically to support community engagement, outdoor education programming, that would be the appropriate time to look at. We have several different funds, one at Holland Zealand, one here. Would it make sense to move those and put them all under one umbrella or not? I know that where I came from, we didn't, we had a fringe group that was a nonprofit, similar, but then we strategically opened accounts with the local foundations. That way, they're right. You by default provide better awareness with donors. So, yeah.
All right, any final questions? All right, we'll go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that takes us to 11B. We have a suggested motion on the designation of the undesignated Macatawa Greenway property as part of Hawthorne Park. And we talked about this in planning. If anyone would care to make that motion.
I'd like to make that motion
Okay.
per the suggested motion that's
Okay.
listed.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Lucas. All right, Kurt, did you want to run through this a little bit?
I can,
Just
sure.
for those folks who weren't in
Sure.
planning?
So, yeah, it'd be good to have a map, but let
Yeah.
me explain this. Okay, Hawthorne Pond or Hawthorne Park. So that's been mentioned. We just confirmed with the township that that is what they want to call it, and they call it that internally.
In there.
So, okay. Oh, so you
Yep,
do
it
have a
is in the
map.
packet.
So,
Yep.
so the original Hawthorne Park property is about 40 acres. It's owned jointly between us and Holland Township. Holland Township developed it and manages it. After that, 2 more properties were acquired, one directly north and one basically a kind of a linear piece going east. Those were acquired by Parks, and they are completely owned by us. But they were included in this last Middle Macatawa project that we did. So the property to the north, the township has again developed facilities there and will be managing them. That little piece to the east has a trail through it. We will be managing that trail. So it's a very joint thing. But those 2 pieces that I just mentioned, we've just been holding. We haven't called them anything. They're just there. So we think it makes sense to have those 2 added to what we call Hawthorne Park.
And that's page 68. There's a map.
Okay, there's a map in there. I wasn't there, but yeah. So that's the deal. They were undesignated before, but now we will include them in all our data. Aaron brought this up. He likes to get the data straight. Where do we put these? So it made the most sense to put it here.
And we had formalized a naming policy, so we, double checked that. This is just a way to formally designate those properties and incorporate it in that naming. So then there will be a permanent record, right? When we can go back and historically look and identify when the Parks Commission officially named them. So.
Yep, great. Any questions on that? I'm gonna need to stop
Can
calling it
I ask
Hawthorne
you,
Pond.
Kurt, the part to the north, is that the one on the map that says E and B?
Yeah, E and B.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that was, we keep calling it that. I don't, because it didn't have a good name. That's who we bought it from. So.
And that's where the new
Restroom.
restroom building is. And
Okay.
And the event, right, the dedication event will be at that location.
Thank you.
Any final questions? All right, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to kind of an associated motion here with the trail naming through this section. So if anyone would care to make that, this has been through planning also, the Middle Macatawa Connector Trail.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thanks, Linda. All right, thanks, Jane. All right, and there is a map in here too, so you can see, but Kurt, and kind of a little, it's associated with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but-
similar thing, although this, we don't own the property at all. This property basically from 96th Avenue going north and east to Adams Street Landing is owned by the Outdoor Discovery Center, but we have a actual easement to allow the trail to be constructed. And so we will be managing that trail through that section, and we want to call it something. So that's what we want to call it.
Good idea. Yeah. All right, questions on that? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to the Item Explorers Trail Allendale segment easement. This is a little bit new, but Executive Committee talked through it a little bit. We got one that just came in, right, Kurt? And we're looking to, well, actually, do we have a motion? Would anyone like to make the motion to accept the easement or approve the easement?
Make the motion as
Okay.
suggested.
Okay, thanks, Martin.
Or,
Thanks, Joe. All right, Kurt.
so if you've been here for a while, you know we keep picking away at Allendale Township, getting the easements that we really need quite badly to make the trail work. So we have a list of the ones that we really need to focus on. And we've had, if you recall, we actually have a consultant who's been helping us secure these. So this is number 6 out of 9 that we will have secured. So this one, I guess it was just tough. It's a rental property, tough tracking down the owner, getting them to respond and so forth. But we finally got there. And so, yeah, this price is just, I think the price we offered was a couple $100 less than this. They countered with 2,100 and it wasn't worth, bickering about a couple $100. Let's just get it done. So.
Right.
Super. Questions on this? All right, go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to the facility use plan. And this has been through finance and policy. We had quite a bit of discussion on this. Does anyone care to make the motion as suggested?
So moved.
All right, thanks, Linda.
Second.
Thank you, Bruce. All right, Jason, you want to highlight anything on this?
Well, I would just say we've come a long way in evaluating our indoor and rental facilities. And then when we brought Nick on, one of the things he did was he pulled together and had conversations with Jason and his staff and operations staff, our guest services staff, and then facilitated conversations with admin team and community engagement, and really looking at how we're utilizing and operating our facilities, and had some great conversations about priority use, trying to identify which, whether they were priority for rentals or mixed use or community engagement, and really help facilitate those. And then this plan provides the framework for identifying and prioritizing which facilities are designated to either recover its direct costs or do better than covering its direct costs. And then this is one step to give kind of that direction from the commission and identifying those uses for those facilities. And then we'll start working on a business plan similar to the one in here for the Explorers Camp for our indoor facilities, trying to put that actual plan and how we'll generate revenue or break even into a document. So yeah, kudos to Nick and even community engagement team and admin team and ops. It's with any kind of transition or change, it takes some time and effort into having those conversations and dialogue. So really excited about moving this forward. And Nick, anything you want to add on?
Yeah, kind of what you've already said, but this becomes the guiding document. It sets the goal and the cost recovery classification so that when we consider how we're going to use an individual facility or a group approaches us and wants to do something in a certain area, it really gives our staff guidance on where is the most appropriate place for that particular activity or use. So, and like Jason said, once we identify the cost recovery classification, then I can start working in depth on those facilities that are going to be the break even or revenue generating. And when we say revenue generating, that's offsetting costs of other things going on in the department. That's not bringing in revenue to put away in a savings account or something. That's to offset direct costs and other things we do in the parks department. So happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I've got a quick question. So the cost recovery goal key, shows a $sign plus, a $sign, and equal break even. And then we've got 2 of the parks designated as community engagement, in not only for use, but also as the cost recovery goal. Is that just a way of saying these will probably be operating at a loss in terms of revenue?
Yeah, it could. Obviously, it depends if community engagement would charge a fee for that. But overall, the reason we're ranking these in that way is we're looking at the mall as a whole cost. Like, what's the total cost of operating the facilities, and how do we get enough revenue from maybe some other facilities that might offset that cost for those community engagement. Basically, that designation means the primary use of that facility is going to be by community engagement staff for public programming, school groups, things like that. We're not necessarily going to focus and look to book it full of reservations.
Right.
That's a place where, we're going to do some programs. We're not sure exactly what days yet. That's where those holds would be put in so that community engagement knows they have these spaces to do these activities and
Yeah,
field
I
trips.
understand that as far as
Yeah.
the use goes, you know, you want to,
But yes, financially, no, they're not self-sustaining. They could be, but we're not looking at them like we would a break even and a revenue positive.
okay, thank you. And then also, I thought I noticed you had Grand Ravines in 2 different categories. Hold on, where did I see that? Yeah. So, oh, Connor Bayou, sorry, you have Connor Bayou both in, I don't even, I'm on page 6 of your plan. That little chart, number 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you show Connor Bayou in the $$ plus just the $.
Oh, that's a typo. We can fix that.
Okay.
It's it's to be dollar plus.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Okay.
Good review, Jane.
Yeah, good catch.
Well, I remember seeing this some time ago. I wanted to make sure I really understood it.
Appreciate
No, I
that,
mean, I
yeah.
think it's great that, you know, this is going to be really useful both for programming and, you know, the shared use issue that we've been talking about in community engagement and maximizing use of those facilities, but also keeping in mind that, you know, some of them definitely are revenue generating. So yeah, it's a very nice document.
You know, we've had a lot of discussion about this specifically as it relates to operations, but in answer to your question about the community engagement ones, a lot of the programs that community engagement will have will have a fee associated with them. So not all of them, but a lot of them will. So people will have paid to attend that program. But I don't think at this time that there's a plan through any accounting, to take a portion of that fee paid and put it back towards some sort of category that lists that that's for rental of the building or anything like that. So I don't think that there's a plan to note that. So it's just as community engagement, even though there will be some revenue offset from the cost of having people attend the programs in some cases.
On the finance side, we did talk about some are going to make money, but that's a relative term because we're a millage-based facilities organization, and we offer the community opportunities to use things, and they may or may not make money. So it's helpful, but residents of the county, you know, kind of feel like I should get to use things because I pay for it. And so we're not probably charging the amount of money that a business would charge for some of our things. And that will be the same with community engagement. Well, and I think the value of a document like this too is to show, be transparent about how our rate setting is not arbitrary. It's based on solid strategic goals, you know, based on use of the buildings and so forth. So it adds some transparency to the process.
Yeah, and as we start building out the business plan for the higher level facilities here, we're going to set some definitions and methodology into how we set rates and when we increase or decrease rates based on usage. So you'd be more transparent at that point. So.
Great, good questions. Anyone
And I-
else?
And I think the one thing that I would just add on with, just so it's clear for everybody, if, you know, as Jessica and her team sit down, if we have a history program and we want to talk about Pigeon River, we very well might schedule something at the Weaver House, even though it's
Absolutely.
identified as a revenue plus. But just what that means is it's, in order to do that, there will be a conversation between, community engagement and Nick and just work through that. And then vice versa, even though, the Nature Center isn't listed as one of our facilities to generate revenue, that doesn't mean that, sometimes a chamber or different organization might reach out to use the classroom. They can still do that. What we would do then is instead of, going through the booking process with our admin or VBS team, we'll transfer over to the staff at the Nature Center to look at the programming schedule and the calendar and availability and try to accommodate that accordingly. So this just gives us some of that framework and really trying to a guide for staff then to utilize and program those facilities. So.
I feel bad. I had to tell Stephanie the board of commissioners couldn't have their work session at the Nature Center on June 1st because there's like 80 kids there.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I think you should
so-
let them do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, come on in.
Wouldn't want to be there.
All right, awesome. All right, are we ready to put it to a vote? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to the item Explorers Camp Business Plan. And this has been through Finance and Policy as well. And we talked about this quite a bit over multiple months. And so we have some great commentary on there and explanations on some things that have been discussed, which I really appreciated. But so there's a suggested motion to approve the revised business plan, if anyone would care to make that as presented.
So moved.
Okay, thanks, Linda.
Second.
All right, thanks, Bruce. All right, Jason, did you want to highlight anything here, or Nick?
Well, and this is just, again, this has been a work in progress or a labor of love. When we, gosh, I forget which year we received the first donation for this, we started to draft this business plan and, right, so a lot of the work in the foundation and the framework came from Jason and Jeremy Cook on the ops team. So after a partial, I think we had 4 years of fiscal year 25, we were open and really feel like we've got the budget now working and able to see some trends. We also realized when we built the first business plan, we didn't think about projecting out a startup. So meaning, right, a ramp up over several years, more realistic projections. So Nick dug into this and worked through some revisions, worked with the Finance and Policy Committee for feedback. And really, again, this gives us the framework and kind of the guidance for staff to how we're going to operate this, provides a benchmark for us to kind of evaluate. And then we'll every year come back and be evaluating and determining, do we need to make any adjustments or where are we going? So yeah, Nick, anything else?
Yeah, it's very much a living document. So this is a revision, a very good plan put together initially before the campground opened. It had a lot of good things. I think it's, I did some of my own research, calling some of the comparables that were called out in the original plan and talking to them about, what does your occupancy and use look like at different times of the year? And I think the original plan was spot on. I think the 65% is a good benchmark. Once we're fully ramped, I don't see any issues getting to that based on the conversations I had. So the initial plan was great. And then we had some more data come in after a few months of operation. So we're revising it, looking at what's happening now, looking at the trends for expenditure and revenue, and kind of projecting out what does the next few years look like. And knowing that we're going to come back and update that at least annually as we get more data in. But yeah, it's just, it's a good guiding document. And we'll continue to work on it with finance and policy regularly. And I'm tracking and collecting all of that data so we can compare month to month, year to year, and see how we're improving and how things are going. And At the end of the day, we have an amazing facility that's kind of one of a kind in the area. And with the new software coming online, we're already close to what we did last year for reservations for this fiscal year, which is great. So even before the new software comes on, we're doing well. So I'm just really excited about the campground and where it's going. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anything for Nick? All right, we will go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to the Tri-Cities YMCA MOU. This is a new agreement that was discussed at Finance and Policy as well. So do we have anyone who would care to make a motion on the MOU?
So move.
All right, thanks, Jane.
Second.
All right, thanks, Lucas. All right. Jason, is there anything you wanted to highlight on this?
Well, this is as you note in community engagement report, Jessica every month gives an update on our partnerships and collaborations. And this is one that we've been working on for a while. So this just provides a framework. We used a similar framework we have with fellow kids, and just provides kind of the guidance to work with them and schedule programming and collaborate, and then how we're coordinating that use of our parks and our facilities. And so I think this is one. We have several others in the works. We would expect something really similar with the Conservation District, and we've talked about the Outdoor Discovery Network. So just trying to build that formal framework that, we can then, if anybody would ever ask, well, why does such and such get use of your facilities? We can, this is the reference point on why we're doing it and why it makes sense. So yeah, happy to, and Jess, you can talk more. I know that we've talked about collaborating on both some of our camps and activities, and then attending and providing program support to their camps.
Yep.
So.
Yep, you covered it.
Super. Any questions?
I'd be curious in the kind of that list that you kind of mentioned of the different organizations that we have, just to kind of see, how big is that list and who is it with? And that's a great, I think, just talking point as we look at the millage and the partnerships that we've developed with other organizations and how we support them and scratch each other's back. So if that's something that's out there, that'd be great to see.
Yeah.
Good. Anyone else? All right, we'll go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to the final item on new business, and that's the Shoreline Amateur Astronomical Association Image Sales Agreement. And this was discussed by Finance and Policy as well. So we were, yeah, a lot on the finance agenda. If anyone would care to make that motion, we can go ahead and discuss it a little bit.
So move.
Okay, thanks, Jane.
Second.
Thanks, Linda. Jason, you want to give an update on this?
This one, it's a bit of a formality. So we have an operating agreement, management agreement with the Shoreline Amateur Astronomical Association. Say that quickly,
Right.
4 times. But they're an amazing partner. With their telescope, they actually have it hooked up and can take photos. So they wanted to be able to offer for sale some of those photos. And this just provides, again, if anybody would ever ask, why are we selling things or allowing things to be sold at our public facility by a partner organization? So just provides that framework. And we did run it through Corporation Council. So thanks to Jessica for kind of bringing it forward, and Nick and Jenny both helped with getting it done. And just, it's checks and balances, and then also provides kind of that guidance for staff on how to work with them. So.
Do they have any
estimates as to how many photographs they plan to sell? I mean, is this a new thing for them or?
Yeah, I think it came out of, they had a lot of interest following their show at the Holland Area Arts Council. So there's 9 images for sale now, and they said, if we sell one, let us know and we'll bring you another one. So we can see how it goes. And I think, did you estimate like $300?
I estimated, yeah,
Yeah.
$300, which would be 30 sold this fiscal year. So we'll see.
Okay.
They're actually really cool
Yeah,
pictures. If you're over
yeah, I
there, check them
know.
out. I'm definitely buying a couple. I think they're really cool. But
And you can join their group for a whopping $10 a year.
yeah, oh boy. And they get $20 and we get $10, and the $20 helps for the cost of the framing and everything, and it helps their organization too. So
Yeah, and there will be some signage that shares that the images were taken at the facility also, which is pretty special.
Yeah, that's neat.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So we'll add them to the list of.
Yep, well,
They're on the list.
they're already one of our partners, right? And and the great thing about this, the
In Hemlock.
worked on is, right, the team worked on this, a customer just buys it online and does the transaction online and then shows one of our staff the receipt, and then we can provide them with a copy. So we don't even have to have cash that changes hands.
Big
So
thank
that's,
you to Nick for getting that work
yeah,
done.
that was
Holy
nice.
moly.
That
Thank
was
you.
nice. So.
yep, and yeah, they collect all the funds and the tax and everything, and then once a year we just send a report and they send a payment. And pretty simple.
All right. Any final questions? Thoughts? All right, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. And that brings us to our final opportunity for public comment. I do see we have someone in the audience. Does anyone care to make public comment? You could have 3 minutes if you'd like to address the Parks Commission. No? Okay. All right. And if you are online and care to make public comment, please feel free to email the Parks Commission at any time at the email address in the video description. So with that, that brings us around the horn and Commissioner's prerogative, and we'll start on that end. Bruce, you have anything?
I think Nick's position should be ambassador, because he's coordinating with different departments since he came on. I really appreciated the Item Explorers plan and the way that's set up. I mean, it's pretty detailed. It's like, whoa, how many pages is this? When I'm reading it. But there's a lot of your work that went into it, as well as other staff, ops and administration, like Jason was saying. Yeah, it's a great document. And it's a great starting plan.
Thank you.
I like it. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Bruce. Jane?
Just real quick, and Joe, maybe you're going to bring it up, but I want to congratulate you on your drain cleanup volunteer program and the grants that you've gotten. You've gotten some nice coverage on that, and
We got more to come yet.
okay,
So
yeah.
thanks to the parks for partnering, because they were a partner, so
Yeah, so that's
we got more coming.
a great program. Other than that, I'm set.
Good. Lucas?
I don't have anything today.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Or Linda?
Nope.
Martin? Good. Phil? Joe?
No, I just bring up what Jane said, so thank you for the comments, and thanks for parks and park staff. I think there's going to be some more clean outs for that grant. I know we got 2 more coming up. We had 20 volunteers that cleaned up a drain for Community Impact Day last week, Wednesday already, I think it was. So that was great. Got a lot of trash out of the drains. And again, we got a grant for more. So we're excited to partner with parks and their staff as well. So thank you. I know Jessica was a part of that too.
Nice.
Hmm.
Good deal.
That's all I got though.
That's
Thank you.
great. Yeah. Field?
Couple things. Firstly, I just gave Kurt something that I hope Aaron is aware of. There's a major effort to develop a Great Lakes parks trail system, which the Canadians are very, very involved in it. And there's an effort to get letters and communication from different organizations around the Great Lakes, all states of the Great Lakes, to get behind a trail system around the lakes. So I've given that to Kurt, and it'll probably be referred to Aaron and the appropriate committee. I think it's really a good idea. Second thing, I'm resigning. I think some of you are not surprised at this. We had a discussion at the Road Commission at our meeting last week, and it was not anybody's idea other than my own, although I do think that there might have been some effort in other ways, but it was really my decision. Here's a letter for you. Pass that to Kelly. And Jim Miedema, who has been on the board previously, will be replacing me on the board. He certainly knows the way you all function and has been a member for a number of years, so probably will make a contribution. But I've got a lot of things going on, and I did not feel that I was making much of a difference here. So I'm leaving you, but I wish you all the very best of luck.
Okay. Super. Well, thanks, Field, and thank you for your time and the amount of effort you've put into the Parks Commission for sure. So we'll be sorry to see you go, but thank you for letting us know today. The only other thing I wanted to add was that I got to participate in the bird banding last week with some of the ornithologists. They are a very serious group. Birders take their work very seriously, but it was really cool just to even be a little part of that. And I think we caught 84 birds, banded 84 birds, or caught 84. Some were even recaptures that had been caught there from previous years, which is always like a super big highlight. 21 different species. Nick's son was there, and he was like one of the best participants. So respectful. Oh my gosh, that boy is adorable. He was so excited to see all the birds up close, which is really great that the bird banders are able to do that and get kids up really close. Well, and adults. There people of all ages. So it was a really, really great opportunity. So in the future, if anyone's interested, I would highly recommend that. It's neat to see all the science and how seriously they take the data collection. So it's great. All right. With that, I think we will go ahead and take a motion to move into closed session.
So moved.
All right. Thanks, Martin. Do we have support? Sorry, who made support?
Kyers.
Oh, Kyers. Thanks, Phil. All right. Ginny, if you want to take one. Oh, okay, no problem. So I know a couple of people have to leave early. Thanks, Joe.
Me too.
You,